there's a new game coming out from, I believe, Ubisoft is making this one. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it's just too delicious for me not to share. Called FarCry 5. And I don't know if anybody's ever played the FarCry series. Mike, have you ever touched any of those before?
No, I haven't.
It's fairly open world, first person shooter kind of thing where you can just kind of explore and blast whatever you want to do. But anyway, the last one that came out took place in I want to say almost like a Thailand, Vietnam kind of era. Not era, but that type of the world. Where it was a really interesting game because the fucking shut off. Interesting. Anyway, I'm just gonna turn that off. We're not even bothering with that tonight. Goddamn video. Anyway, behind the scenes, everybody. So there's the fun thing about the last Far Cry game that came out was that you could beat the game without causing like any kind of issue that was going on. So you could start the game up and like the first person you meet up in the game happens to be also the big bad of the game. And when he says, hey, just wait here for a moment. And when he says wait here for a moment, that gives you a chance to like break out of the scene and go wherever you need to and kill all these random people and do all this other shit. Or you could wait like 10 minutes and the game gives you a choice where if you just stayed in that room, he takes you directly to the ending of the game. So it was kind of interesting the way that happened. But I'm going completely off the rails here because the new one coming out takes place in rural Montana now. And I bet you can just guess why people might be kind of pissed about this, because the bad guys are white Christians. And boy, there are some people just fucking angry about this one. So there are all sorts of people on the Christian right just pissed off about it. It has nothing to do with the violent nature of these games, or non-violent like I was talking about, if you choose to play it that way. But really, who the bad guys are, and this is fucking rich. This comes from a user on Reddit's atheism group, because why the fuck not? It's a game story, not a Pulitzer Prize winning kind of article, so just don't get your panties in a bunch here. So Far Cry 5 is set in Montana, focuses on you taking down a cult of Christian extremists that have taken over the fictional town of Hope County. And so they've released some cover art for it, and it's very reminiscent of The Last Supper, with Jesus being the villain, if you looked at the position on the table. This has, of course, pissed off a lot of people. The moment the cover art was first revealed, people immediately got angry. So logically, the Christians have decided to use their typical strategy of internet tantrums, as we've come to see for just about everything. I'm surprised they haven't started a petition against us here on Utah Outcasts, but they call the game anti-Christian, and of course, using the alt-right favorites term, white genocide, saying they'd be more comfortable fighting foreigners because why the fuck not? Let's go ahead and kill all those brown people, but the minute we have white guys as our enemy, we can't do that. No, that's impossible. They can't speak the same language as us. So I wonder when Call of Duty's going to come out with like a Civil War edition. That'll be really interesting.
The bad guys look too much like me.
That looks like my cousin in Montana. I wonder if I'm shooting him. Like, no, that's not how video games work. So this sort of thing happens all the time. Typically, whenever someone or something calls out Christianity, Republicans, evangelicals, or conservatives in general for what horrible people they can be. And I paraphrase that last sentence because this person went to a definitive end on this one. Worst of all is the petition. There's a petition out for this one. It demands that either the game be canceled, and knowing how much video games cost from being a video games journalist for a while, that's really not going to happen. Or be completely changed. Again, that's going to cost them like twice as much. That's definitely not going to happen. So whatever troll made this petition probably wasn't serious, but the 1,000 people who have signed it are. Ooh, 1,000. So I don't know. The petition's hoping, there's some people hoping that they'll change the game's villains to like inner city Muslims in Canada instead of, it being, out in the wilderness Christians in Montana. I don't know. And this person goes on Reddit to continue with a paraphrasing of what they believe. Christianity is all about control of people's thoughts, bodies, everything, including, of course, media. Did Ubisoft go too far with this? I'm not sure about that. And all I'm certain is that they used Rockstar's strategy of generating controversy for the sake of publicity. The point is, the game is trying to antagonize the people who are boycotting it, and this I can get behind. And I'm kind of with him here. The more you make people fucking angry, the more units you're going to sell. I mean,
Makes me want to play it.
Yeah. I mean, look at who one of my favorite recording artists was in high school at the time. It was Marilyn Manson. He even bought his stupid autobiography. And why did I like him so much? Because he made old white people scared, especially here in Utah. Fuck, man, when he came in concert and he tore books out of the Book of Mormon and like was throwing them in the audience, everybody's like, "Oh my god, that's just so horrible." So you got to keep in mind at that time I was going to school out in the middle of fucking nowhere, Utah. So people want to get in all sorts of, panties up in a bunch about this kind of thing. So anyway, I haven't bought a Far Cry game in quite a while. I think the last one I got was 3, or they did a really amazing remake of like the 80s genre like movies called Blood Dragon, where they used it in the same engine, but it was really fun. But I'll probably pick up Far Cry 5 because I want to kill some bearded, pissed off, not on my land, don't tread on me, Christian Montanans. So, and not get arrested for it. I'll have some fun with that.
Galaxy.